and they drained it. It came back, and I went on a 5-day strict. I went fruit only. I had fruit only, and it went away. And everyone thought, no way, no way. Two things I'll open up to Mark, Chad, and Doug too. People are asking if this is applicable for children, and people are asking, can you do this while you're training? I'm seeing a lot in the chat room. The chat room is open.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on kids?
Okay, so kids, I think there's two things. One that I always tell people is if you start to observe how your kids naturally eat, they actually typically have somewhat of a fasted cycle. So they have a cycle where they want to eat, and they have a cycle where they want to fast. So kids under 16, what I encourage people to do is stop chasing your kids around with the breakfast meal. Stop trying to put food in their mouth all the time. Get them in touch with their own natural rhythm. I have a 17-year-old son, and once I learned fasting, I asked him, like, do you even like breakfast? And he's like, I hate breakfast, but I'm hungry at 10 a.m. I'm like, awesome, let's get you food starting at 10 a.m. instead of feeling like he's walking out the door and I gotta shove food in his mouth. So we get out of touch. We teach kids how to get out of touch with their own natural fasting cycles. Over 16, if they come to you and they say, hey, I want to intermittent fast, absolutely, you can start them intermittent fasting, but it has to be their desire. So my 20-year-old, when she went off to college, she said, hey, I know I'm not going to get great food in the dorm. What do you think if I only eat lunch and dinner? And I was like, I think it's great. Let's start training you now to do that. But I wouldn't force it on a kid. I want to teach a child their natural rhythm. And then when they come to me, absolutely, let's start teaching them the longer fasts.
And the athletes that are training, is it safe to do?
Yeah. So, oh my gosh. So there's some really cool things, and I could geek out on this. So when you are in a fasted state, you are stimulating something called autophagy. So autophagy is like a breakdown. It's like a detox. Think of it like that. It's a cleaning up. Autophagy is the opposite of something called mtor. mtor is muscle growth. It's building everything up. So what we do with our athletes is we fast them in the beginning. Like, let's say their competition is on Saturday. We fast them Monday through Thursday, like intermittent fast. So this is not like a long fast. And then we come in, so we're stimulating autophagy. We come in on Friday, and now we build up. We protein load, sometimes we'll carb load. So we stimulate mtor so that the body is building up those reserves. And then Saturday they go into the competition, and it's crazy how powerful those muscles are. So we got to go into depletion and then into building. We're meant to go in and out of autophagy and mtor. We're meant to go in and out of these states. And that for an athlete, you can time that perfectly to get the greatest muscle power possible by depleting and then going in strong.
I'm changing my whole game up, Chad. Mark, I'm changing it all up. All of it.
This leads right into my next question, Dr. Mindy. And I'll tell you a little story. I did this school one time called Survival, Evasion, Resistance, and Escape, SEER school. I went about 7 days without food, and we get into camp at the very end, and they bring us a big, nasty, greasy burrito from Don Ponchos down off the Silver Strand there on Coronado Island. And what do all of us idiots do? We crush that burrito. And I'm going to tell you what, that was the worst belly ache and the worst. I mean, I was in a dead sprint to the toilet, son, within 10 minutes. So I'm interested, I guess, to bring it all together. How do we most effectively and efficiently break a fast?
Oh, break a fast. Okay, definitely not with a burrito. So
I learned that.
Logical consequence. So it depends how long. If you're intermittent fasting, if you're 24-hour fasting, it doesn't matter. Like, break it with whatever you want. But if you go like 48 hours or longer, I always say break it with broth first. So vegetable broth. If you eat meat, you can do bone broth. Then here's the cool thing is when you are fasting, think of it like you're resetting your microbiome in your gut. So you want to ease in with some broths, and then after that, you want to come in with some probiotic-rich foods. So like we love this this yogurt called Cocoa Yo. We break our fast all the time with Cocoa Yo. We bring in some probiotic rich foods, sauerkraut. You can do kombucha if you want, but you want to come in and replenish the microbiome with good bacteria. Once you're good there, then you can do some light vegetables. You can even do a little bit of fruit. And then after that, if you're good, you can throw in meat. So I have people do it in steps like that.
Awesome. Perfect.
What I love about this conversation also is you're not saying don't eat meat, don't eat dairy, don't do this. You're talking about windows.
Yeah.
And I think that's really compelling. So how do people get started, Dr. Mindy? What's the best way for this group if they want to dip their toe in? And what's the best way they can learn more about you and your programs? I know I'm signed up for a one-on-one. I'm fascinated. I'm going to make major, and I'm clean now. Yeah. I'm changing it all up because I'm fully bought in on this. I'm a big believer.
I got some ideas for you too, Jesse, when we talk of how to get that performance to a whole nother level, because you can use these principles like I was talking about where you go in depletion and then build and you'll see it in your athletic performance. It's incredible. So if you haven't fasted, the first thing to do is push breakfast back an hour tomorrow. So if you have breakfast at 8, have it at 9. Just push it back. If it's painful, that's awesome. So it's just like how we started this conversation. When life gets painful, you learn new skills. When you take food out of the equation, when you push breakfast back an hour, when it's painful, your intelligent body adapts and it creates new skills and finds new chemical reactions to tap into. You do that for a couple of days, and once you're comfortable there, now you push your breakfast back another hour and you get a little more uncomfortable. And you keep extending that window and keep forcing yourself to be a little more uncomfortable until before you know it, it's like 15, 17 hours and it's easy. It really becomes effortless. Now, the other trick to that is if you have a high carb diet where your blood sugar is doing this all day long, you're going to struggle a little bit more. So start to stabilize your blood sugar by adding some fat into your diet. Make sure if you're a vegetarian, are you doing some seed oils? Are you doing avocado? If you eat meat, don't get the leanest cut of a grass-fed steak. Get the fat on there. Fat will stabilize your blood sugar. So if you're doing that when you're eating and then you're pushing that window, just keep pushing it, you'll be blown away. Like quickly, your body adapts.
You know, we're getting so many questions, but I think I'm going to do is, Kevin, can we get all these questions and put them on? First of all, Dr. Mindy, you're so generous with your information. You know, you're on YouTube, you share it in podcasts. You know, your intentions you can tell, are completely for good. And so we really appreciate you joining us tonight. I'd love to get all these questions and for me, because people are asking about with diabetes, people are asking about lemon juice. It's on and on and on, and we could be here for hours. But I'd like to compile these internally, Kevin, and we could talk about how maybe we can get some of these answers, you know, for the group too. Mark, Chad, any questions, anything else before we shift over to Doug?
No, a lot of great information. I really enjoyed your information about the athletic fasting. I'm gonna try to implement that. That's really good.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mindy. It was absolutely amazing, man. I'm so pumped. I'm so inspired. And more Vision Quest in my future now for sure.
And how can, Dr. Mindy, how can our group learn more about you? And what do you have to offer programs for anyone that wants to go a little deeper?
Yep. Yeah, so I'm all over social media. YouTube is my biggest channel, so I have so many videos on fasting on YouTube. I take my videos on fasting, I put them into nice little squares on Instagram, so follow me on Instagram. We have a closed Facebook group that's free, and we fast together once a month. In fact, it would be really fun to do, we call it Fast Training Week, and it would be fun to do with your crew, where we teach people how to fast for a 5-day period, and we do all different kinds of fasts. So you can find us, it's called the Resetter Collaborative. And then I have an academy, a membership academy, kind of like what you've got here, where we do resets, where I take people through the 7 different fasts. I take them through different styles of eating in a 15-day period. The next one we're doing is in September, so you can join us in that experience as well. And that's all on my website.
Really cool, man. That is so awesome. Awesome resources, Mindy. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mindy.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was amazing. Well, you're welcome to stay on, but I know you haven't eaten yet today. So you're probably hungry.
Keep kicking in. I'm like, I want to hear Doug's sprouts.
Yeah, Doug, organic Doug. So, Doug, I'll introduce you because I probably know you best of the 3 of us. Doug was early to the juice game, Dr. Mindy. He owned a chain of stores in New York called Organic Avenue before anybody was juicing in the early 90s. And that's all I ate.